With more than 2 million Jeep Wranglers produced from 2007 to 2018, most of which were 4-door unlimited models, the JK platform forever changed the perception that Wranglers can't be practical vehicles. In this video, I'll break down the major changes that the Jeep saw along the way, highlight pros and cons, and dive into whether or not it's worth springing for the Rubicon package. From 2007 to 2011, all JK sold in the United States came with a 3.8-liter V6. Now this engine puts out 202 horsepower and 237 pound-feet of torque. While that power plant is livable, it's not great. One of the biggest complaints is it doesn't make a lot of low-end power. Now some of the most common issues include burning oil, intake manifold gasket failure, and cracked exhaust manifolds. We've seen these engines last into 200,000 miles, but we've also seen them destroy pistons and spin main bearings with as little as 70,000 miles on them. If this is a secondary vehicle for you, it's not something that we would worry about as much. If you're looking for a daily driver, you might be a bit disappointed with the power that this makes. 2012 was a big year in many ways for the Jeep Wrangler. Jeep finally did away with the minivan source 3.8 liter and replaced it with the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 that is still used today. The dual overhead cam engine was a tremendous upgrade in power with 83 more ponies on tap. The all-aluminum block is lighter than the previous engine and uses a more easily accessible canister-style oil filter that you can access at the top of the engine. The exhaust manifolds are now combined with the head, so you don't have to worry about the cracking issues that you did with the 3.8 liter. While there was an issue with some of the heads on the first run engines from 2012, most of those have been addressed or recalled. From 2007 to 2011, all automatic transmissions are a 42 RLE. Its 2.84:1 first gear ratio doesn't give the Jeep much punch out of the hole, but that's partly due to the fact that the 3.8 liter makes power much higher in the RPM curve. Heat is a big killer of any transmission, and the 42 RLE is especially susceptible when it is paired with oversized tires and additional strain. Adding a transmission cooler and proper differential gear ratios to match with the taller tires, and you should be problem-free. As we mentioned, 2012 was a big year, not only with a new 3.6 liter engine, but you got the WA580 automatic transmission. Now this is a big deal. This is an all-new 5-speed automatic that got a major first gear bump to 3.59:1. Now when coupled with this new 3.6 liter, it made the JK feel far more powerful and peppy both on-road and off. If you're a purist that just loves rowing gears, then you'll be glad to know that from 2007 to 2018, you could get a manual transmission. Now the 6-speed manual that was offered in all years is the NSG 370. It is a 6-speed manual that's definitely going to keep you busy. It's not a short throw transmission by any means. However, the 4.46:1 first gear ratio offers excellent control for technical driving off-road. Keeping it serviced and filled with the correct fluid will definitely keep you rowing for years to come. Now the JK only came with one style of transfer case in 2 different variants. It is a new Venture Gear 241. Now in the Rubicon model, it is a 241 OR. The OR only means it has a 4:1 low range gear ratio instead of a 2.72:1 low range. Both transfer cases are chain driven and sit inside of an aluminum housing. They have found to be incredibly strong and handle V8 power. The biggest thing you need to be careful of is adding a skid plate to it to ensure that it doesn't get damaged off-road. If you do opt for a Rubicon model, a skid plate is already fixed from the factory. Now to talk about axles, we definitely got to jump into the Rubicon package. Now first off, let's talk about your standard axles that come basically across the line of the JK. That's going to be a high pinion Dana 30 front and a low pinion Dana 44 rear. Now when you opt for a Rubicon, you are going to get a high pinion 44 front and a low pinion 44 rear. Now what's special about these axles is they come with true lock differentials. Now these are electronically controlled selectable lockers. Driving down the road, you're going to have an open differential, so you're not going to have any weird feedback, but off-road, when the transfer case is in low range, Jeep has it where all you have to do is press a button and you can fully lock up the differential like a spool. This means both tires are going to be turning at the same speed, giving you the best chance for traction off-road. This is one of the reasons the Rubicon is such a big value and why it costs more money than other Wrangler packages. Now, what are the other big things that make the Rubicon such a standout vehicle over the other JKs? Now, one of the first being it has an electronic sway bar disconnect. Now, this carries from 2007 to 2018. And what this is an electronic disconnect motor. And the idea behind it here is instead of having to pull a sway bar end link off to allow the front axle to articulate more freely, all you have to do is press a button inside of the cab, and now you have more flex, which equates to tires on the ground and better ride quality overall. It is a big benefit of the Rubicon package. Now, some of the other features you're going to be looking at are rocker guards that come standard, which is definitely going to be helpful if you're going to be in rocky terrain. And most importantly, you are going to get a 4-to-1 T case, which is that 241 OR we mentioned earlier. Now, this 4-to-1 is definitely intended for rocky scenarios and where you need that extra torque because you're trying to drag these big tires over rock. It's just going to give you better control. This is especially true if you're opting for the manual transmission. So the big question is going with a Rubicon worth it? Well, the real answer to that is, are you actually going to spend a lot of time off-road? Because these are all off-road appointments. If you're mainly going to be daily driving the Jeep and just occasionally going off-road, a Rubicon's probably going to be a little bit overkill. And you could really save a few $1,000s by getting something like a Sahara or even a Moab edition that comes with a selectable rear locker from the factory.
I think we need to do a little more all-weather testing.
Now, a few of the more non-mechanical things that's definitely worth mentioning have to do with the interior. Now, in 2011, they completely revamped the inside of the Wrangler, and it is so much nicer than the earlier ones. While the earlier ones were more Spartan and kind of TJ-esque with a lot of plastic appointments, the new ones have way more nice touch points, and it's just a more refined interior. Now, another hot topic item for the Wrangler is soft top versus hard top. Now, we have had a variety of soft tops on this Wrangler, and we also own a hard top. And what we'll tell you is this: during the winter time, we really like the hard top. Not to say there's anything bad about the soft top, but just for that little extra security if we're carrying camera gear or tools or anything else, we really like having the hard top. The noise difference on the road isn't significant so much between the soft top and hard top that we would really sell you on it one way or the other. We do like the conveniences of a hard top, just for the fact the glass opens up in the back with gas charged struts, so it's not going to be as difficult to work with as a back zipper. Soft tops are wear items, so it's one of those things that you're going to end up replacing. It's things to know. If you see yourself taking the top off a lot and pulling the doors and you really want that adventure vehicle, the soft top is just the better fit. It's going to be a lot easier to work with. You can pull it off by yourself, whereas the hard top, even though you can pull the front freedom panels off pretty quickly, you're going to need some help when it comes to lifting that big heavy hard top, and it's a lot to store. That's our basic mechanical breakdown. Now, there are plenty of packages from Sahara to Islander to Moab to Rubicon that we could dive into, but the reality is the mechanics and the basic hard parts are all the same throughout. What you really need to decide is which year, if you were going to go with an early one and you don't mind the, let's say, a little bit slower engine and that sort of setup and more Spartan interior, or do you want to spend a little bit more money for the more plush Jeep with a little bit stronger engine? If you want to get an Islander with stickers and all that other stuff and you're willing to pay the little bit extra for it, hey, go for it. But it just depends on really what your budget is and what you want to do with the Jeep. We definitely tell people 2013 and newer, just for the fact it takes out that audible of you getting a dud from 2012 that might have some weird head issues. But beyond that, we like the automatic transmission in the later model Wranglers and just really think they've got the package so much more dialed the later it went into production. A few other notes in terms of modifications to the JK platform. If you are considering moving up tire sizes to a 35-inch tall tire and plan to actually take the Jeep off-road, we recommend outfitting it with a 2.5-inch lift kit. We've tested multiple lift height configurations with true to size 35-inch tall tires. This is also a good time to talk about axle strength. For non-Rubicon models, a 35 is as large as we would recommend. This is mainly due to the slightly weaker Dana 30 front axle. For Rubicon models, we keep the limit to 37s. Hopefully you found this informative, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I appreciate you watching and hope to see you on the next video.